Look, man, this is the Standout Podcast where everyone and anyone could be a standout. And today, I'm somewhere in East Hartford, my hometown, where I'm from, where I was born and raised at, in a legendary shop, Elexio's Barbershop, located on Burnside Avenue. And I'm with a young up-and-comer right now. He's been coming out here for a minute. 3 years into the game, I got my boy Julio with me in the building right now, repping Elexio Barbershop. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? I'm feeling good, feeling great, man. Good to be here.
All right,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm happy you here, man. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about this. I come to the shop all the time. We've been talking about this for a minute. Like, man, I gotta come in here for an interview. You gotta come to New Haven, and then it was like, let's just do it here and see how that looks, see what the aesthetic is, get the shop vibe going on and shit. But listen, man, you've been in it for a little while, not too long, but the haircuts, the clientele, the shit's coming quick. It's going fast. Right. Tell me right now, on this come up, how has it been? Like working here and just doing everything that you've been doing these last 3 years.
I mean, I lied if I said it'd be perfect, you know what I'm saying? Nothing's perfect, but it's been pretty steady, man. I can't complain. I'm still learning, obviously, every day, growing. In this industry, you can never get comfortable. That's when you usually plateau, and that's usually when you kind of like start to stagnate and like just drop. So I just try to stay hungry, try to stay motivated. But yeah, man, it's been fun. It's definitely a bumpy road, but it's real fun, man. It's interesting coming every day. Every day for me, it's like a new day. Like it's never like you might have the same clients every week, but it's never the same. You know what I'm saying? It's always different.
Definitely.
Always something different.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that too, you talking about clientele. Like you said, it's a new client every day, something new every day. Tell me, what in this process, you're very young. You're only 23 years old. 21. What have you learned about yourself so far in this profession that most people tenure in? Like, what can you say you've learned so far?
I'd say is probably for me, mostly probably using my resources as best I can,
Right.
We're at an age where like social media is a big influence in our community and our generation. And I try to use that to the best of my ability to grow my talent, to grow my network. And I think that right there is like what I try to preach to myself, not only to myself, but to everybody around me. Like, it's a crazy, like, it's a really good tool to use if you know how to use it right. Especially when learning. Like when I was learning, I didn't have like a barber to like teach me how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It was all just YouTube and like house cuts, bro. Like I was cutting hair during COVID for like 4 months, and it was all just YouTube,
crazy.
bro. So it's really that's really mostly it. Really just like trying to use social media, but yeah, man, it's hard to like pinpoint,
So let me ask you this, because this is like the third time I've heard this in my podcast voyage here, that people have used YouTube University to start these huge ass businesses.
Hell yeah, bro.
Can you tell somebody out there, you're making a living off this, and you literally said, man, not going to college, not going to do this. We're going to use the vital resources that we have. So tell me, using YouTube and doing what you do, how has that not only helped excel your business, but how have you watched your business go up and being able to tell somebody, I use this as that in this generation? Like, what could you tell the young generation? Be like, I understand you got to go to college, but maybe that's not for you. Right. Tell them how, maybe you could use that to utilize and stuff like that.
So, like you said, man, I was going to try college, and like last minute I told myself like, I'm not a school person,
Right.
I'll do good in school, but it's not my best like strong suit, I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm really good with my hands, so I decided to take up another trade, and I think a lot of people are real, especially kids, are real like kind of forced. They feel like they're forced to go to college because they feel like that's the only way to go and the only way out. And I think like not only being here, but it kind of like being here only just shows that like you don't need it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you play your cards right and you have a vision in mind, then shoot for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shoot for the stars. Like the only real limit that you have is your mind and yourself. Like
most definitely, bro.
So that's how I kind of tell myself. Like obviously it's gonna be ups and downs. Like there's anything in life, but as long as you kind of keep the same goal in mind, and you stay focused. Like you can really accomplish whatever you want. You know what I'm saying?
That's a mouthful right there.
Yeah, and, for real. And YouTube could teach you stuff that college might never ever teach you. You know what I'm saying? Or they won't want to teach you, and you're paying how much? You know what I'm saying? And YouTube free. Everybody got YouTube.
That's what I'm trying to say, man. It's a free source that nobody uses. But let me ask you this too. You know, I'm a shy type of dude. I got into podcasting off YouTube too. It seemed like you a little shy dude. You talked about getting into a trade. You know, you could have did some doors and windows, did some HVAC, but you chose barbering. Barbering is clientele, you know, from person to clientele, making them look good. Why barbering instead of one of those trades?
So originally, I went to trade school, right, for high school.
Right.
And I did manufacturing. I did a kind of like that warehouse environment and construction, I guess you could say, job. And it was great. It wasn't bad, but I decided to take up another road in life. And the reason I chose barbering was because no matter what happens in this industry, you're always gonna have that talent with you. You know, it's kind of like a mechanic. You can always take that anywhere you want, anywhere on the globe. Yeah. Same thing with barbering. You could be a barber for anybody and anybody. You know, like that's one thing that, regardless of what's changing, people cutting their own hair and like, you know, prices going up. Everybody might need a barber. You know, like that's always gonna be a thing. Like everybody's gonna love their style, love their appearance, and that's really what I do it for. Like for me, it was never really about the money. It still isn't. It's just about the satisfaction I get when I see my clients come out that chair and like, it's like they're just a new person. Like I'm sure I told you before, I'll be like, yo, this one of them ones. Like I'm like, yo, I ain't finished yet, but it's one of them ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really that satisfaction of like seeing that finished product and seeing like, I step back and like, I did that. You know, like that's what does it for me, really.
Yeah. And I mean, in terms of coming in the shop every day, you know, I've been coming here for a long time. Like I said, you know, this is kind of the first time where I've seen like a youngin' where he's in the shop every day. He's working as hard as he is. He's doing this. And at first, I didn't know that it was only 3 years. And you know what's funny? As I've always looked at your name and your different handles and stuff. You got senpai in your name. And that means like a guy who's older. Like they respect the elder.
Senior,
And it seems like you hold the weight of like an older dude. Like it's almost like you've been tenured here way before. So tell me, you know, even though maybe you came in here a little bit of an experience, you may have come in here not knowing as much, how do you always hold that aura of just being so buckled down and acting like you the elder statesman and just putting that work in to get there?
For one, man, definitely life experience, you know. Everybody has like different life experiences that mold them into the person they are.
Right.
But me, I always grew up being told to always stay humble. No matter what you do, always stay humble. Because no matter how much of a good person or a bad person you are, like a lot of those things can kind of turn on your head. But if you're humble, a lot of different things will just kind of come to you. Like it'll be like, it's like a plate, like it'll just be fed to you.
Right.
And that's honestly one of my biggest things, like just trying to stay humble as much as I can. I don't really preach I'm humble, you know. It just kind of like everybody that I know just tells me like, you're like, and I think that right there just by itself, it shows that like I'm not wise, but I can kind of seem like real responsible and I can kind of have like that old soul, I guess you can say.
Right, for sure.
Just because like I never feel like I'm better than anybody else, you know. You can always learn no matter how old you are.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's really like the biggest thing, just being humble, man.
Yeah.
Always being ready to learn and able to learn, you know?
Speak to that too, because I feel like in this generation, you know, like I've told you, we've had talks about my job and shit. I've been around kids and shit like that and the way they're doing. I feel like in this generation, it's hard because a lot of these cats ain't teachable. So tell me about being in this younger generation and just being able to absorb different energies in the barbershop, learning from different people, pulling from different people, maybe people you've pulled from in this journey and stuff on how to learn how to be a barber.
So in this industry, there's no real set technique of how to cut hair and what steps to take. It's just about what is comfortable to you and efficient at the same time, you know? So at first it was just about trying new things, seeing what kind of works for you, seeing how to fade, seeing how to do different techniques, seeing what blades to use, much clippers. But eventually it kind of becomes like pulling from everybody will make you unique, you know?
Right.
Like, obviously you can take techniques from everybody, but that doesn't mean you might do it the same exact way they do it, you know? And that alone it just goes with hand in hand of like, nobody is the same, you know? And at the end of the day, like you might have inspirations and idols, but you can never 100% copy somebody else, you know? You always gotta find like your kind of your lane in whatever industry or whatever thing you decide to take up, whatever dream.
Right.
And that's really it. Like just understanding that part. Like it's if you're oblivious to the fact that like you feel like you can't learn or you know, like you're better than somebody, then off rip, like you're already setting yourself for failure.
Yeah,
you know?
pretty much.
So I try to like, even to this day, I still try to go around to some of my peers. I know everybody does something good here that they do that somebody else might not. And my idea is like, I want to try to take every little best part of everybody and kind of bring it to myself.
Bring it to yourself.
You know, and put it within my technique, put it within my my style of cutting and working. And that's really it. You know, just trying to be like obviously get help and learn, but make it your own, you know?
Definitely.
Make it your own kind of staple.
And you know, you got the barbershop on your shirt. I just explained in the first part, you know, coming here, it's a legendary barbershop, man. When you walk through those doors and you hear Elexio application, there's a lot of already added pressure. You know what I'm saying? You coming here as a newbie, he's got you cutting walk-ins. Talk to me about coming here for the first time and building that connection with Lex and just being in this barbershop for as long as you've been here.
Okay. Obviously, it's like any other job, man. First week, first few months are gonna be real shaky. You're gonna be real scared to get out of your comfort zone. You might stay here and take, 2 hours on a cut just because you feel like you have to get it down perfect. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but we can try to be as close as we can to it, right? But honestly, it just comes with like time, man. Like just letting it kind of come to you. I don't try to force anything, so I just try to kind of take it day by day, man. If you sit there and try to like, I guess, force yourself to be something you're not and like skip ahead, you know, it's gonna backfire crazy, you know.
Skipping them steps.
Yeah, you gotta really take it all like one step at a time. No matter how long it takes. Like some people take 2 years, some people take 1, some take 2 months. But again, it all depends on you and how you want to work and what you want to do. You know, like it took me a couple months for me to get situated and be comfortable, and I still wasn't cutting that much. I was still sitting down most of my day, but I was still here. You know, and it was just because I told myself like I didn't want to be here uncomfortable. And feel like I was anxious all day because I feel like I don't belong. Like you have to try to step out your comfort zone. Talk to people. Obviously, you're gonna have walk-ins and stuff that don't know who you are.
Of course.
They're scared. You're scared. You just got, you know, like even when I first cut your hair, like I was a little worried. You know, I don't know if you tell, but I was a little anxious. You know, and it just takes time, bro. Repetition. Try to be the best you can that day, and then just try to recreate that every single time, you know. And obviously nobody's perfect, but again, you can be about 90%. You know, no one's asking you for 100, but at least 90, you know.
Just at least as long as you don't fuck my hair up, man. That's all I ask for. As long as my shape up ain't all the way on some perpendicular shit, we good in here. Like, you know what I'm saying? But listen, here comes another aspect of this job, the pricing part.
Okay.
Oh man. That's always the fun part because now you got somebody in a chair like, bro, you nicked me here. It got to be down $15. You know what I'm saying? You fucked up my beard here. It's got to be. So tell me, as you're coming up, how do the prices change? How do you levy the prices? Like, what goes on with it? Like with that type of stuff.
So real quick, I'm gonna just start when COVID came around, right? It was shut down, quarantine. I was cutting hair for about $10, $15.
Right.
I think it was $10 at the time, only because I had to pay for my sprays, right? Cool care. That's a wearable. So like every clipper, every client, I have to use that twice, before and after. So that's just gonna run up. That's the only reason I kind of charge 10. The clippers are an investment. Once you pay for the clippers once, they get paid for after like a month or two, and then you get your money back. But it's really just blades and cool care, and that's like really like the biggest things and sprays. But after a while, when I got into shops, then you get rent. Right now, your price has to increase a little bit more, maybe $10 more. I pay $200 right now a week for rent. So, and we do $30 haircuts, $40 with beard. That's about 6 clients a week to pay your rent, right? And then after that, it's all pocketed. But again, like you still have to buy blades and sprays every month, right? So that goes into it. Your time, obviously, like so between materials and timely costs. That's kind of how the prices balance out. But obviously, some people add services like I don't charge for eyebrows, so that's always included with all my haircuts. Any kind of like trims and stuff like that, that's also included just because it's part of the service, you know. a lot of people they tend to kind of nitpick their prices, like every little thing they want to charge for. Your eyebrows, that's this much. You want to line up your mustache and not your beard, that's this much. Beard and mustache, that's this much. And it's like, after a certain point, it's like, come on, man, you're pushing it. You know, this coming from a barber, like, I won't say what I believe is the right price for a haircut, because at the end of the day, there really is no right, perfect price. It's really just on how much you value a haircut and how much you value your appearance. Right. And what feels comfortable for you, you know. If you feel like the man that you paying $20 down the street to get a $20 haircut is doing you right, man, hey, no one's stopping you, bro.
He got the little hammer with the blade. You know what I'm
saying?
Going
crazy. However you can get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really up to you. But again, I have my own set value of why I charge the way I charge. So that's really it. It's just every barber is a little different, you know. Right. And it's really just finding what's best for you, what is within your price point and within your standards.
Right. So in terms of that, you know, you get through pricing, you get through all that. I kind of want to go back a little bit. When you bought that first set of clippers, what did that feel like? Were you like, okay, I'm fully in now? Like, what was that like? Was it like, I'm fully in, or we gonna go halfway? We gonna check this client. If I fuck him up, this is gonna be it. Like, what was that like?
So, man, when I first bought my clippers, well, first of all, my aunt bought my clippers for me first. Okay. I didn't really have the money for it at the time, so I was like, Thea, can you just, you know, get me these clippers? You won't regret it, I promise, you know. And she did it, got my first clippers, first trimmer, and I was cutting, but again, nervous as fuck, you know. You know what I'm saying, nervous as hell.
You could cuss on me. I've been cussing the whole time.
So, it took me, I think my first haircut was probably like 2.5 hours long, man. And it was just a little taper, like it was nothing crazy. Right. But 2.5 hours in the sun, in the summertime, we had no AC in my crib, so it was just, you know, it's rough, you know. But when I got it done, it was bad. I won't lie to you. It was a bad cut, but I was very satisfied. I was like, I got that done, you know. I sat there and I finished it, and that was very accomplishing for me in itself. Right. And that little kind of satisfaction kind of drove me to do more and to get better. And I was like, if I feel this good and the cut came out trash, imagine what it would feel like when I can bang out 10, 15 cuts a day and they're all fire, you know, they're all really well managed, like well timed, looks good. So it's just like that little sense of satisfaction, man. It was real. It's like an adrenaline rush in a way, you know. And even during the haircut, like I'm over here sweating bricks. I'm like, man, I can get this line out. Like I'm stressing right now. I hope he can't see this, man. It was stressful, man.
It's like me right now. I'm nervous, but nobody would ever know I'm nervous. But.
Right.
But listen, so you started through COVID. This is also interesting with a lot of you business owners. You started through COVID. Now, cutting hair and COVID, like that shit to me don't mix. Like I'm gonna be spread. We gonna have a Clorox war in that motherfucker. You're not touching me. My N95 is on. Don't, you know what I'm saying? So tell me, a lot of the clients that you had at that time, and a lot of the things you were doing, how do you feel like when you got to a bigger shop, not only how it changed, but how it was the same for you?
So the thing about going into a shop is that not only are you working for yourself, you're working for somebody else with their name on the door, you know? Right. So it's not only your appearance you have to worry about, but theirs as well, their image. How would it look if I'm in here butchering heads all day and then leaving through that door, and it's like, oh no, it's not that, it wasn't Julio, it was this boom boom Elexio's Barbershop. They fucked me up at Elexio's Barbershop. It's not Julio that fucked me up. They fucked me up at Elexio's Barbershop. Yeah. And that goes a long way, and people don't understand that, like, you know, it's really that quick, you know, like image can get ruined that quick. And again, they're not gonna pinpoint one barber. They might say the barber and like this barber name thing at Alexio's, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna have that name in front of it, and that image is gonna deter. It's only gonna determine their image and yours as well.
One Instagram post away, and that shit's
literally, man. Literally, like that really is one bad Instagram post away from
one bad podcast, y'all. Standouts the fuck out of here.
That's really it, man. It happens that quick, especially nowadays with social media and stuff, man. Negativity spreads around way faster than positivity nowadays. So it's like they're waiting for it. So, you know, you just have to kind of come in here confident. Obviously, I think that's the biggest thing, really, just being confident when cutting hair and speaking to your clients. Yeah. Because that's gonna show up in your haircuts as well. You know, your speed might diminish because you're not confident. Yeah. Your quality might diminish. you know. So you just really gotta stay confident and stay 10 toes. Really, just
Yeah.
try to keep a straight face, you know. Do the best you can. And if you have any issues, man, don't be afraid to ask for help. I know nobody want two barbers on their head at that barbershop, but hey, if it's gotta be done, man, it's gotta be done. It's either that or your lineup again looking crazy, you know.
But that's another thing I was gonna ask you. How important? A lot of people don't understand how important in a service job is communication with your clients and the people around you.
That's one of my biggest, I want to say, like strong suits.
Right.
It's my customer service.
Right.
I don't remember when I was first time with you. I asked you like a million questions about how you wanted your haircut, man.
I didn't know if I was coming back after that.
I'm sure after a certain point you was like, yo, just cut my hair, bro. Like I don't even care no more. You know, I was like, how you want this done? You want this curve right here? You want this trim? Like how? Like, and you know, but all it takes is just one mess up, man, and then they're coming back. So it's like in my head, it's like I'd rather sit here and ask you 20 million questions and get it right that first time. That way, I know 100% every time you come back, than to just kind of guess and then be like, half-ass it, and then you might not come back. So for me, like I take really big pride in just making sure my customers feel satisfied and comfortable.
Right.
One of the two biggest things, comfortability and satisfaction. But comfortability for me comes first, me personally.
Right.
Just because if somebody's comfortable with you, man, then the sky's the limit at that point. You know, like you can talk about anything and everything, and you know that starts with you. So, service jobs, you have to have your customer satisfaction on point. Like
it's a different level.
I think that's the first thing over quality. Like quality, everybody can say quality is great. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants a fresh cut, fresh lineup, but if you can deal, I feel like most people can deal with an all right haircut if the customer service is amazing. You're so confident with your barber. You're having great conversations. You're sitting in the chair. He greets you when you come into the door.
Right.
Like that. Those little things, those little aspects will help you way more than you being a super fresh barber. Because after a while, you could be the freshest barber, but if you're an asshole, then it's gonna, it's like I could just find something else. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But customer service is probably one of the biggest things, honestly. Period. Yeah. Like in my opinion, personally.
Right. I've also heard, now I don't know if this is true, you can quote me on this, but I've heard that you've been teaching classes here and there, if that's correct?
I used to. A couple years ago, yeah.
So tell me about when you're teaching somebody how to do something, you're new to it, you're teaching somebody how to do to it. What would you want somebody to learn from you from this? Like what would you want to tell them and how would you want to teach them? Is everybody different or is there one simple lesson that you always try to leave them with?
Everybody is definitely different. You know, you can never teach somebody the same as the next person. But the biggest thing you can kind of tell them is just, again, be confident. Like, don't be scared to do certain things and to mess up. Obviously, I'm not telling you to push them back, and give them the avatar hairline. But like it's okay to see how much this is gonna take off, see what kind of line this is gonna create. Just take those chances because it's really just trial and error. This industry is all trial and error.
Yeah.
And if you don't fail, you can't succeed, and that's the hardest part about it. Honestly,
I think that is, yeah.
You have to go through the bad days to get to where you are, and it's just nobody's gonna be the perfect barber off the rip. Everybody has to mess up eventually, or somehow to get better. That's how you learn off your mistakes. Yeah. So the biggest thing I would just say is just don't be scared to make mistakes.
Right.
Obviously there are some mistakes that you should definitely avoid.
Right.
But there are some very minor things that like. It might make or break the haircut now, but you can definitely get that touched up, and you can definitely work on that.
Right. So, obviously, like you say, you made this through social media. You did all this type of stuff, but I know you're also a family-oriented type of guy. So tell me how it's been having not only the support from your clientele and stuff like that, but also the support from your family within getting into this and just pushing you to keep going every day.
My family actually played a big part. Not only my aunt, right, getting me my first clippers and stuff, but my mom kind of just like letting me, like, obviously everybody has bad days and stuff and like slow days, and I just like, I wonder like if this is really for me. And she always kind of tells me like it could always be worse, but obviously not in a condescending way, but it's just a bad day, It's not a bad life.
Of course. So
it's just kind of keeping you on track, Obviously everybody has bad days, and it's okay, but having somebody there to kind of bring you back up, and support you not only like mentally in some ways, but financially as well sometimes, you know. So obviously at first I didn't have my money for clippers and blades and stuff. I needed to get it somehow, you know. Right. And obviously I repay her back now all the time, you know. But it's really everything, you know. Like it's hard to dream and chase a dream when you're by yourself, you know. Right. It's possible, but it's gonna be a very rough road, you know. It's gonna be very hard, especially if you're not mentally disciplined. Right. If you're not mentally disciplined, man, it's gonna be very hard. So it's just easier to have a shoulder to cry on sometimes.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess you, man.
You know, sometimes it's very needed. So family definitely plays a huge part in my career. I cut a lot of my family up. Some of them even for like free, just because when they first started, I was messing them up like crazy, man.
Shout out to them. I got definitely a lot of them bowl cuts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but they was always like, yo, just keep going, man. We'll do it again next week. You know, so just keep going. And this helped me out a lot. Man, I think when I first started cutting hair, one of my cousins actually, I cut him like maybe 3 times in 1 week. And it was all bad cuts. But hey, it helped me out so much. Like I can't explain how much it helped me out. And to this day, I tell him like, yo, you don't even got to pay for a cut, bro. Like for real, like you helped me out so much that obviously you're not gonna get 3 cuts a week anymore right now because that's a little extra. But you know what I'm saying? You want a free cut, man? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Like I don't mind. But definitely, man, like it definitely helps out a lot. And again, just having somebody to talk to and have a shoulder to cry on helps out a lot.
Definitely. Tell me, you know, with this industry, it's obviously an industry that has a lot of different fields within it. What do you see for yourself? Do you see yourself only being a barber, or do you want to break into something else within this hair industry? Like, what would be something else that you would want to do within this industry?
So, in this industry, I'm gonna be very real with you. It's hard to have very good longevity,
right? Because
your body deteriorates very quick, especially if you're not taking care of yourself in the proper way,
right?
Physically. So, I plan on trying to get into real estate, maybe into this industry, but it's hard to obviously cut for the rest of your life. It's like there's barbers that do it. Don't get me wrong; it's not impossible. But every one of those barbers will tell you like I should have got out way sooner because I could have.
Yep.
After a certain point, every barber could have got out, and it's just up to them if they want to take the next step. But for me personally, I think we're definitely real estate, man. I'm not into like fashion and stuff, so I don't see clothing or like products and like making products and stuff. But maybe owning a shop here and there, you know, definitely wouldn't hurt. Probably one like this, a really big barbershop, you know, have it run itself. But that's really it. I haven't honestly thought about it way too much yet. Not yet.
I mean, you're still young.
Yeah,
you know,
it's still very early.
Still a work in progress. What do you see within the next couple months, next couple years? Like, what do you want to excel at? You are still very young in the game. You're a new barber. What's something maybe you want to add to your arsenal or your repertoire that hasn't been added yet?
Speed, man. So I'm a very quality guy. No matter how long the haircut takes, I will sit there and take that hour, 45 minutes with you.
Right.
That's kind of what I kind of bring as value, as like my value as a barber. That's kind of what it is: quality over speed.
Right.
But obviously, if you can have both, you're golden. That's the golden rule, right? Quality and speed. Obviously, I'm not thinking about 20-minute cuts, you know.
Yeah.
But definitely just a little faster. 10, 15 minutes won't, you know, just add an extra couple heads at the day, you know, it'll add up. But for me, speed right now is probably my biggest downfall in this. Not saying I take 2 hours on a haircut anymore, but you know, 45 to an hour. That's a little longer than usual, I should say. You know, a lot of people usually stick to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whether it's with beer or not. So that's just me. I'm thinking maybe speed, but that's really it. That's really it, man. Just speed. Yeah, that's like that's the hardest part, bro. That's really the hardest part.
I think, and you know, coming here, it is funny because I'm not gonna lie. There will be sometimes where I'll book you and I'll come and I'll sit over there.
Right.
I'm like, but the haircut I'm gonna fucking get, I know it's gonna look good, so I don't give a fuck. Let them sit there for 2 fucking hours. I'm cooling. It's a weekend, shit. I'll lay there and sleep. I don't.
And let's be real. We never wait 2 hours.
No. I'm not saying that. Hold on.
Never wait 2 hours.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
Yeah, for sure. That's another thing too. Like I feel like all my clients kind of know that I don't rush. So they see like it's kind of like they got here on time, and that's somebody in the chair, and it's like probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. Me when I hit like 20. I feel like at my point, I'm like, all right, I'm pushing. I gotta hurry up, you know?
Right.
Like, that's a little, like, if I have you sitting for 20 minutes or more, I feel like either I'll probably give you a couple bucks off the service, or like, I'm gonna throw something in there, or like, cause I just feel like I have to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to rush the person in my chair because then that'll ruin that relationship.
Right.
But I also can't ruin that one because I'm taking too long.
Right.
It's kind of finding that sweet spot and being able to accommodate and putting your pride aside.
Right.
Because again, nobody's perfect, but you need that communication. You know,
of course.
Everybody's human.
Of course.
And that's another thing. Like I can't. I'm not sitting here hating on other barbers, but I can't be a barber that just like
rushes it.
That rushes it and like doesn't really care for their client's time. You know, like I always try to apologize for it and kind of tell them what happened, and if it's like really bad or if it's like really late, then I'll like I've given like free cuts before if I've been 30 minutes late because I kind of fucked myself over. You know, like I overbooked or like I underestimated myself or that client's hair texture and I went over a couple 20-30 minutes and I was like, you know what, man, that's on me today. I got you today on me. You know, like. But it's just a little thing like that again, it goes back to customer service, man. Customer service goes a long way, bro.
Yeah, man.
But again, like I'm sure even you know, like a lot of my clients know, like I don't really rush from haircuts, man.
Nah.
Like we could be selling something down. And it's like I'm gonna tell them sorry, but I can't rush this haircut right now.
For sure.
That's gonna mess up my future. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. All right. So we coming to the end. What could you say to your loyal clients in Elexio's barbershop that you'll want to say, like, being young, being here, doing this, what can you say to them and how they've helped you and maybe how they've changed your life in some way, you know, this barbershop and your clientele?
Man, this honestly made a big impact in my life, man. I went from working, obviously like everybody works a warehouse job and stuff, maybe here and there, or just some kind of retail, fast food, some little, you know, little BS job that nobody wants to do. And when I got here, it kind of opened up my eyes to a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I can create my own schedule whenever and wherever I want. I can cut however many people I want whenever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like I have free reign to do whatever I want with my time.
Right.
And that alone is a big difference between like working a 9 to 5 and having a set schedule and having to be there no matter what's going on.
Right.
But it takes a lot of discipline as well. You have to be disciplined because it's very easy to just sit there and be like, yeah, I ain't going to work today because I don't feel like it. You know. It's like I can't tell you how many days I woke up feeling like that, but there's sometimes that you just gotta go to work, man. You just gotta thug it out. And you know, like at the end of the day, people are relying on you.
Of course.
It's not like you just handling packages at FedEx and it's like who cares if this gets delivered. Like some people rely on this as for like their daily motivator. Exactly, you know. People come in weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, and it's like they need that boost. Like I can't tell you how many people I've had sit here. Come and sit down, quiet, real nervous, shy, and then they get up and they're just a whole different person, man. Like they get up talking loud. I'm like, damn, your voice got a little deeper and stuff. Going to dap everybody up. I'm like, all right, like.
I definitely was like that. I ain't gonna lie. I left the shop after his first haircut. I was like, oh shit.
And it's just little things.
Here come the baddies.
Right, and it's like little things that's not really said, but you see that, you know, and again, that means a lot. That means that's probably the biggest motivator for me. Just seeing that and boosting people's confidence, like deep down, I'm just a giver, man. So being able to just provide that is a huge win for me. Like I said, but yeah, man, I guess it's real relieving, man. I guess to be able to do your own job and to have your own schedule and do whatever you want, like it's hard to explain the relief it has, even day by day. Like you know, like I still come into work most days. I'm not gonna lie, I might not come in every day, but I definitely come in most days, especially towards the end of the week.
Right.
But it's always like a new day, like I said. It never feels boring. I feel like I never know what's gonna happen today. And that's what kind of keeps it fun, you know, keeps it interesting. Right. Every day is a new day, you know, might see new people, might not, but it definitely will be a new conversation, you know, and that kind of keeps me going. And it's very fun, man.
I gotta ask you the most generic question of the whole interview before it ends. Where do you see Julio in 5 years?
Honestly, I still see myself working here, man. I have a goal of how I want to get my clientele, and I'm nowhere near where that is yet. And again, I still have to work on little things, my technique and stuff, my speed to get there eventually. And it's gonna take some time.
Right.
But again, little steps, man. Take it day by day, step by step. Can't really rush the process. But I definitely still see myself working here. Probably have some investments on the side, but I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Definitely, man. Loyal to the soil.
Hell yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's something that you've definitely, I don't know, you definitely exhibited that. And I will say, man, just thank you for even fucking with me today, coming here.
Of course, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
This is dope. I've never done this before. This is like an episode of the fucking shop. I was nervous coming here. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Yep. I don't know what the hell's gonna go on. But I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for coming. Plug everywhere you're at and tell them what's going on with you, man.
Gotcha, man. So my IG, you can look me up on IG at JB Blends on IG. And that's really, I don't really use anything else to promote, just IG. But you should be able to find everything there. And then if you want to book an appointment, you can download the Elexio's Barbershop app on the App Store or Play Store. It's free of charge. And then you have everybody's schedule there, including myself. And when, like I said, man, whenever you're ready, you can always come in.
Definitely, man. Listen, this has been a standout podcast for everyone. Anyone could be a standout. I also got to give a shout out to my boy Charlie, who's in the building. Follow him at CR Blends too. You know what I'm saying? This is Elexio's Barbershop. I want to thank y'all, Elexio. Listen, man, Julio, keep doing this shit, man. Push this shit as far as we could go. Come get your cuts. And before I leave, I got to plug the people that brought us this beautiful presentation. 171 Orange Street, New Haven, Connecticut, the Pie Lounge, and my boy Dre God's studio, New Haven studio. Book your sessions, book your podcast. You know what it is. It's your boy, Austin Santiago with the Standout Podcast with my boy Julio. CR Blends in the building. Bow.